Guys, what is up? It is the Political Kid, and my room keeps getting darker, and I don't know why. But today, we're going to be talking about the Ukraine war. Now, things have been pretty interesting, considering that recently, Trump has called Zelensky a dictator. And now that the U.S. is definitely pulling back the aid that it has brung to the Ukraine to the Ukraine government and pull that aid back, it could really, one, it's hurting Ukraine and American relations, and two, it could definitely affect how this war ends. Now, today we're going to be talking about the possible scenarios of the Ukraine peace deal and what would happen for politics in America and what would happen abroad within Eastern Europe if each scenario happened. So we're going to be talking about three scenarios, basically. A Ukraine kind of leaning peace deal, a Russian leaning peace deal, and then the most moderate of compromising of peace deals. So we're going to start with the Russian peace deal and the Russian leaning peace deal that favors Russia. Is that of course they get Ukraine in all these scenarios. They get Ukraine to give back Crimea, and that's giving back Crimea is the thing that is just going to happen. Like, there's no getting back Ukraine unless there's a new offensive. So yeah. Also, a Russia-leaning peace deal could mean that Ukraine could be barred from joining NATO. However, there are a few European peace forces just to make sure that Russia doesn't reinvade again. Also, the current territories that Russia does hold that is not Crimea is kind of limited. However, and it's only a little bit limited because of the few territories that Ukraine holds in Russia, but Russia keeps most of what it has gotten. So yeah, talking about a compromise of compromises and peace deals. There's way more European peace troops that are keeping security by more. Ukraine is slowly able to join the Western countries. However, for the short term and basically the rest of Putin's political career, Ukraine's going to be a definitely Russia-sphered country, especially if Russia is able to get a new president who is a little bit less Western-leaning than Zelensky is. And the same thing would happen, although Ukraine would get a little bit more territory. And now we're going to be talking about the final peace treaty, which is Ukraine leading. We could have Ukraine hold out for a bit more and kind of just pressure Russia even more because of the territories it holds. And we could see Trump realizing, like, Trump being a little bit more favoring Ukraine than he is right now. So that would give them a lot of leeway, and they would be able to at least join the EU, Ukraine, if they decide it. NATO would be a eventual thing that they might join if it was a Ukraine-leaning peace treaty. Russia would still get Crimea, and Russia would still get a bit of eastern Ukraine. However, it isn't that much compared to what they currently have now. And there's European forces that go in European peace forces that go into Ukraine. However, it's not that much to kind of like give Ukrainians the impression that even though there is Europeans in the country, they're still an independent state and they're not solely controlled by Europe. So that is basically all the scenarios. And now we're going to be talking about how each of those scenarios could impact American politics. These have consequences, so we're gonna get into that. So first of all, if a Russian leaning peace deal is had, NATO is going to be severely divided because there's America who's going to be more like be less inclined to help with countries around the world who's going to be in war, and European countries are going to notice that. So either for European countries, they need they're going to increase the military spending that they need to so that America is inclined to protect NATO. But if they don't, America's going to be way more isolationist. The compromise scenario, NATO would be less divided. However, it would still be a little bit divided based on they didn't go for a victory for Ukraine, but just a compromise. But it would be considered a win for Trump, since it would be what he promised during the 2024 election, which would make a lot of people who support Ukraine and who are way more isolationist continue to support the Republican Party, which would definitely help Republicans in the midterms and the 2028 general election. If there is a Ukraine-leaning peace treaty, NATO would be not as divided. However, Trump would definitely be more isolationist than Biden, and he would keep asking NATO to increase their military spending like the U.S. has. And then a lot of isolationists would kind of feel a bit betrayed a little bit, but they'd still kind of support Trump. And a lot of people who support Ukraine would definitely go behind Republicans and would help Republicans win in the 2026 midterms and in the 2028 general election. The European peace forces could be a hot issue for NATO, considering that they would still want America to contribute a bit to keeping peace within the region, and with Trump's more isolationist leaning views, that's definitely gonna hurt. I mean, it's definitely gonna divide NATO no matter what. So whatever peace treaty we do get, and whatever happens, it's definitely gonna change politics, not just in America, but in other countries. Also, today was the German elections. Hi, whoever is in Germany and watching this. I think there's only 2 of you, but if you're somehow watching this, hi. Germany could be seen as a more leading figure within NATO, which would make European countries less inclined to support all of America's endeavors, which would kind of split NATO into this 2-sector group of those who just want to keep peace, and whenever there is violence in other nations, they would get involved either through the military or aiding them. And then the other side that's way more isolationist and would kind of only support what America has. So no matter what happens, no matter who gets a lenient peace treaty or if there's a compromise, things are going to change. And so it's not even guaranteed that the war might end within the next year. So just always try to be informed on these topics, and I hope y'all have a great day.